Welcome to Noir Narrative. As we embark on this journey into the shadows of mystery and memory, we turn our focus to a term that has echoed through the annals of Irish criminal history: Ireland's vanishing triangle. A phrase coined in the 1990s by the Irish media, it evokes a sense of enigma and unresolved darkness. This term, while not directly connected to geographical profiling or the specifics of the cases it encompasses, has become a beacon, drawing attention to a series of chilling disappearances. Much like the infamous Golden State Killer, whose story was rekindled and eventually solved through the power of a resonant name, Ireland's Vanishing Triangle holds a similar allure. The Golden State Killer, known by various titles in the 70s and 80s, remained elusive until the moniker given by Michelle McNamara captured public imagination, leading to renewed interest and eventual resolution by Paul Holes and his team in 2018. The impact of such titles is undeniable. Names like the Zodiac Killer and BTK have kept their respective mysteries alive in the public eye, underscoring the importance of how these cases are framed in our collective consciousness. Our narrative delves into the heart of Ireland's Vanishing Triangle, traditionally associated with the disappearances of 6 young women in East Ireland between 1993 and 1998. The scope, however, is subject to debate, with some arguing that the series spans from 1979 to 2011, including around 17 unsolved cases. In several of these, arrests have been made and 3 bodies have been recovered. Yet, the Gardaí's certainty about the perpetrators in 3 cases hasn't led to the discovery of the victims' remains, nor to any convictions. In this exploration, we focus on 7 particular cases from 1987 to 2003, selected for their mystery and the absence of clear motives or convictions. This choice is a testament to the vast, intricate web of these disappearances, where each piece of information only deepens the enigma. Join us as we piece together these cases in chronological order, shedding light on the murky depths of Ireland's Vanishing Triangle. Continuing our journey into Ireland's Vanishing Triangle, we delve into the story of the first victim, Antoinette Smith, whose disappearance and murder remain a haunting element of this series of unsolved cases. On July 11, 1987, 27-year-old Antoinette Smith, a resident of Kilmahuderick Court, Clondalkin, South Dublin, embarked on a seemingly ordinary adventure to attend a David Bowie concert at Slane Castle, Company Meath, with a friend. They journeyed from Dublin City on the 56 bus, buoyed by the excitement of the concert, purchasing tickets and David Bowie t-shirts. After arranging for her children to stay with their father, Carl, Antoinette and her friend arrived at Slane Castle around 3 p.m. Their return to Dublin City at 11 p.m. marked the beginning of an ordinary night out that would soon turn into an enduring mystery. The pair headed to La Mirage nightclub on Parnell Scent, joining 2 other friends. The night's festive air was briefly disrupted by a minor argument between Antoinette and her concert companion, resulting in the friend leaving, but not before handing Antoinette a key to her house. The night wore on, and around 2 a.m. after leaving the club, Antoinette was last seen walking towards O'Connell Bridge, clad in blue jeans and her newly bought David Bowie t-shirt. This sighting, haunting in its normalcy, would be the last known moment of Antoinette's regular life. Carl Smith reported Antoinette missing on July 14th, and after an initial delay, the Gardaí launched an investigation, fueled by a detailed account from Antoinette's friend. Despite a high-profile media campaign, no substantial leads emerged. The grim reality surfaced 10 months later. On April 3, 1988, a family hiking in the remote Dublin Wicklow Mountains, specifically Glendu, stumbled upon human remains. Initial identification was challenging, but a decomposed David Bowie t-shirt and a key that fit the lock of Antoinette's friend's house led to the heartbreaking confirmation: the remains were Antoinette's. Forensic examination suggested asphyxiation as the cause of death, with 2 plastic bags found around her head and no evidence of trauma. It appeared efforts were made to conceal her body, but nature had uncovered this tragic secret. As the Gardaí intensified their investigation, a televised reenactment of Antoinette's last known movements brought forward a potential witness, a dog walker in Crewer Wood, near where Antoinette's body was found. This individual recalled a strange encounter with a lone male on the morning of July 12, 1987, a man out of place in his surroundings who hurriedly left when noticed. Despite this intriguing lead and national publicity, no further information surfaced. Now, over 36 years later, Antoinette Smith's murder remains unsolved. As we continue unraveling the complex tapestry of Ireland's vanishing triangle, we encounter the tragic case of Patricia Doherty, another victim whose story is shrouded in unanswered questions and poignant silence. Patricia Doherty, a young mother, spent December 23, 1991, preparing for Christmas, a day like any other filled with errands and the festive rush. After a day out, including a haircut and shopping at the Old Bourne Shopping Centre and the Square Tallart, she returned home to Allenton Lawns, Tallart, South Dublin, before deciding to venture out again for Santa hats for her children. This ordinary decision led to a heart-rending outcome. It was the last time Patricia's family saw her. On Christmas Day 1991, the absence of Patricia struck her husband, Patrick Doherty, with alarming clarity. Reporting her missing at Tallart Garda Station, Patrick faced initial skepticism due to the delay in reporting. He explained that Patricia's recent job as a prison guard at Mountjoy Prison, with its erratic shifts, led him to believe she might have been called into work. His concern deepened on Christmas morning, leading to a series of calls and the eventual realization that Patricia had vanished under mysterious circumstances. The investigation, hindered by the timing of the report and the holiday season, slowly gained momentum. A witness sighting at 9:20 p.m. on December 23rd placed Patricia near Bridget Burke's pub, aligning with Patrick's account. Another witness claimed to have seen a woman fitting Patricia's description entering a red car at Old Bourne Shopping Centre. This account, however, was met with skepticism by the Gardaí due to the witness's criminal background, raising questions about the investigative approach to such leads. The grim discovery of Patricia's fate came on June 21, 1992, in the Dublin Wicklow Mountains, an area hauntingly close to where Antoinette Smith's remains were found 4 years earlier. A man cutting turf in glass-mucky breaks found Patricia's body, revealed by a collapsed bog. Clad in the brown mac coat she was last seen wearing, and with a key in her clothing that fit her home's front door, the identification was heartbreakingly clear. Dental records further confirmed it was Patricia. The state pathologist surmised she was likely strangled, with no signs of trauma or gunshot wounds. Scattered nearby were her belongings, including the gold scarf she wore on the day she disappeared. Over 31 years have passed since Patricia Doherty's murder, a case that remains unsolved, with no arrests or convictions. Despite widespread media campaigns and a televised reconstruction of her last known movements, no useful leads emerged. The investigation explored the possibility of a connection to her job as a prison guard, but this avenue yielded no answers. Patricia, respected and liked by colleagues and inmates alike, left no obvious reason for someone to target her, leaving her family and the community in a state of perpetual uncertainty and grief. The cases of Antoinette Smith and Patricia Doherty, with their haunting similarities and unresolved endings, underscore the deep complexities and poignant tragedies. The case of Annie McCarrick adds another layer of mystery and tragedy to the perplexing puzzle of Ireland's vanishing triangle. A 26-year-old American student, Annie had made Dublin her home, drawn back to Ireland in early 1993 after previous stints in the country. With aspirations of becoming a schoolteacher, her disappearance left a void in the lives of those who knew her and in the broader narrative of unsolved Irish mysteries. Annie's last known day, March 26th, seemed to start as any other. She left her Sandymount apartment in St. Catherine's Court around 11 a.m. to run errands, including a trip to the supermarket and the bank. It was during this time she called friends from a payphone, sharing her plans to visit Enniskerry in the Dublin and Wicklow Mountains. Curiously, upon returning to her apartment at 3 p.m., Annie left again at 3:15 p.m. without unpacking her perishable groceries, a detail that would later puzzle investigators and add to the mystery surrounding her final movements. A former colleague spotted Annie boarding the number 44 bus towards Enniskerry, marking the beginning of her last known journey. That evening, there were unconfirmed sightings of Annie in Enniskerry, one at a post office and another at Poppy's Cafe. A later report placed her at Johnny Fox's pub at 9:30 p.m., but like the other sightings, this too remains unconfirmed. From there, the trail goes cold, and Annie has not been found since. On the 30th anniversary of Annie's disappearance, a significant development emerged. The case was officially upgraded to a murder investigation, shifting the focus to the Sandymount area where she lived. Intriguingly, an individual known to Annie has been identified as a suspect, offering a glimmer of hope that answers might finally be found, bringing some closure to her family. The journey home for Deirdre included brief interactions with an old school friend and a second visit to her grandmother. By 3:30 p.m., she was nearing her parents' home. A neighbor saw Deirdre walking close to her home, and another exchange of greetings occurred just 300 yards from her house. The final sighting of Deirdre was on the grass verge across from the gate leading to her parents' bungalow. The disappearance of Deirdre Jacob is marked by the abrupt end of her journey home, a path she never completed. Despite widespread searches and the dedicated efforts of the Gardaí, no trace of Deirdre has been found. The identification of a suspect marked a potential breakthrough in the case, yet attempts to bring this individual to trial have so far been unsuccessful. The case of Claire Boylan marks the final, yet equally perplexing, chapter in our exploration of Ireland's vanishing triangle. At 36 years old, Claire was managing a successful bookshop in Rathmines and living a quiet life in Terenure, South Dublin, where she grew up. Known for her enjoyment of leisurely walks in her neighbourhood, Claire's disappearance adds another layer of mystery to the series of unsolved cases that have baffled and troubled Ireland. On the morning of March 2nd, 2003, Claire left her parents' home at 10 a.m., informing them of her plans to visit an old school friend in Tullamore, Company Offaly. However, this visit was not to be, as her friend later informed the Gardaí that Claire had made no such arrangement and had not been in contact subsequently. A significant detail in Claire's case is that, despite the year being 2003, she did not own a mobile phone, complicating any efforts to track her movements or communications after leaving her parents' home. The mystery deepens with the lack of evidence suggesting Claire ever reached Tullamore. Given that she did not own a car, it's presumed she would have relied on public transport. However, reviews of CCTV footage from bus and train stations yielded no sightings of Claire. Following a public appeal, there were numerous reports of Claire being seen in the Terenure area, with some claiming sightings as late as March 15, 2003. A similar report emerged of her being spotted in Rathmines in early April 2003. These sightings, however, are muddled by the fact that Claire was a regular in these areas, raising the possibility that the reports could be cases of mistaken dates or identity. The lack of concrete evidence, particularly in the form of CCTV or other technological means, makes Claire Boylan's disappearance all the more baffling. As recent as 2003, her case stands out for the absence of any witness reports that could shed light on her whereabouts after leaving her home. Claire Boylan, like the other women discussed in this series, remains missing, leaving her family and the community without closure or answers. The stories of Claire Boylan, Deirdre Jacob, Jojo Dullard, Ava Brennan, Annie McCarrick, Patricia Doherty, and Antoinette Smith form a somber tapestry within Ireland's vanishing triangle. Each case, unique in its circumstances yet tragically similar in its unresolved nature, continues to echo with questions and the hope for resolution. As we conclude this journey through the haunting narratives of Ireland's vanishing triangle, we hold on to the hope that someday answers will emerge to bring closure to these unresolved mysteries. The stories of Claire Boylan, Deirdre Jacob, Jojo Dullard, Eva Brennan, Annie McCarrick, Patricia Doherty, and Antoinette Smith remain etched in our collective memory, a reminder of the enduring quest for truth and justice. For more deep dives into enigmatic and unsolved cases, please subscribe for more updates and explorations. Your engagement helps keep these stories alive and supports the ongoing search for answers.